Okay, if you guys can take a look at this logo, right up here, the scans, this is the logo itself, the eyeball that's in the layer. And right at the bottom of that palette, I have it pretty large, but just so you can see it, it's just going to add a new layer. So here's the layers right down below. And this will be the logo. So I'll just type in by double-clicking on the title, and then double-clicking on this layer. Here you have the eyeball. This will lock it next to it. The next one shows what's placed on there. There's two logos on there right now. And a little circle on the right allows you to select everything that's on that page. And the last one, just to show it to you, is double-clicking on the blue part of the logo. And that allows me to lock it and dim it down. So now I can work over the top of this. So we'll try to keep it as easy as possible. I can't work on this locked layer, so I have to click on the one above it for a logo. And here's the toolbar. Again, if you've collapsed the toolbar, showing that this is a vertical or two panels up. Under Window, hopefully you can see Windows tucked up in there, and you'll see Toolbars to Advanced. And that's what I have, so I have all the tools available to me. And down below there's three dots again that show you all the tools and a submenu for the toolbar that also does Advanced. So we'll try to move along here pretty quick, so I won't slow you down. But here's the pen tool, right listed here, and the foreground and background, this color, fill and stroke. Just going to click on the icon right here to set it to the default. And what that does, I'll just draw a little shape up here so you can remember, is it makes a shape that has a fill of white and a stroke of black. I'm going to turn the fill off just so you can see that, and then just hit delete a couple times to get rid of all those points. So I'm going to focus in on the letter B, so I want to zoom in. So I'm just going to hold the Command and Option spacebar, Command spacebar, and just click, and that'll bring me up close to that letter B. Take the pen tool and just click either on the inside, the outside, or in the middle. Try to just be a consistent approach to this. Here's the big circle part. I'm going to try to go in the middle, see if I can't create the whole letter B with just two strokes, 2 points. Here's the other one. Comes out a little bit large. And by that happening, I can always go back and adjust it. I'll undo it and just break it up just a little bit, add 3 points into this. So, and then to get a corner point, you can see how it's the handle or the rubber band that shows this. Here's the handle. Just going to click and make that point, and come up to the top and just click and close that off. So that gives me the top piece. Now the fill is empty, but if I click on it, you can see it's white. If I double click on this, it gives me all the colors to choose from. So you can kind of do it that way too. But for now, I'm just going to take it off. I want to do the inside, so I'm going to click once and then Command plus just to zoom in. Spacebar turns it to the hand so I can adjust it. Go right into the middle. Click and drag the handle. This is the two handles coming up. And then just go back to the end point. And that gives me that section. Spacebar again to get to the bottom one and just repeat the same piece. Now this one, see if it makes it itself. Not too bad. So it depends. I dragged it off a little bit. This time I'll use the Direct Selection tool, which is next to the Selection tool. Spacebar this down, and you can see the handle comes out. I'll just tuck it back in a little bit and adjust it to be that section. And then zoom out. So now that's the letter B. To select it, I can either click on the path or click and drag a box around it that selects the top and the bottom of those pieces. Remember, Edit, Undo, Command Z is the easiest way to get back to something. So I'm just going to select all of them for starters and just double click on the fill color to just get a color here. So everything's blue, but I'm going to take the inside ones. Shift key to select them so they're both selected. I'm just moving it to show you that they're selected. Go ahead and give it a different color. So now you can see that they're through that. But the idea is that you're trying to put these through the section, and this one is overlapping it right there. You can see it overlap. So is this one. So the idea is to punch those through. So I select everything, and we've talked a little bit about the Pathfinder, but it's under Window if you don't have it open. Pathfinder right there. And the second one is going to punch them through, and that just makes it so it's hollow. So now you have the letter going through that. So now I see I have this kind of an S shape, and that's I'm going to do the same thing with the pen tool, just try to use it as a pen section going across. So I'll take the pen tool, just click on the end of this. While it's still highlighted, just zoom in, space bar to bring it around. And it has a little curves. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But I just want to keep it kind of straight. And depending on how you interpret the look, I'm going to take the fill off just so I can see through the drawing. Here it's too close, so I'm just going to Command minus. And I can move some of the palettes out of the way. And I'm just going to go on the top line here, so I just sketch that in right there. Bring this up here like so. I'm just dragging some handles out to make it a nice curve. And I'm going to overlap it so it goes into this letter. You can see the curve. I'll zoom in a little bit. There's the curve, so I'm going to click on that end point and just come up a little bit to try to simulate where that curve would extend into the other part. And just drag that down. Now that's a little too far, so I'm going to undo that piece. Come down just a little bit further and put that section in there. And thank you. Come down this way. So I'm just going to give it a thickness to it like so. And come this way. That's a little too far, so I'm going to move back just a little bit and right to that corner piece. And click on that. And then just curve this one. So right there I have the shape, and if I just switch this here in the fill and the stroke and just swap it over, make sure I have it selected first, and there you can see that piece, Command minus so you can see it, is laid in there. I'll turn off the background layer so you can see through it. Now again, you're trying to interpret the person's drawing. And when I look down here, I think, well, maybe I got a little too far over here, so I'm going to click on this point with the direct selection tool right here, and just either move that point in, the handle, and maybe I got to move the point itself, so you can move the point like that. I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit and readjust this handle a little bit. So it comes down a little smoother transition, maybe a little wider down on this end, so it looks a little more natural to that piece. So that's that section. This arrowhead at the end has like some round pieces, so what I might do is come and zoom in. Once it's selected, this point right here, this path, it'll have these little widgets here. I can actually click on that point and curve that into the side there. But either way I can keep it straight as well. So now I look at the top one, and it looks like it has a little halo up here. So what I'm going to do is just use the ellipse tool. I could use the pen. I'm going to take the ellipse tool and just draw this. Remember, Shift key keeps it perfectly circle. I'm just undoing that. And the space bar allows me to move it. So I'm going to look and see maybe the top part of it and then bring the minor axis up right up there. So that's that piece. And I'll put another one in there, just to be the inside of that one. And just going to select them both.
The rest of us can't see what you're doing.
Turn this on.
The stuff that's being pulled up, we can't see that.
Oh, the windows you mean? Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I was afraid of that. Okay. It'll show up on the video, but I'll go over it in a second with you guys. Afraid of that, so we'll punch that through. So now this is punched out like this. Let's see. So that gives me that point. So now I can just adjust the pen to be this part. So right at the top, it's going to find that anchor point, and let me adjust that section here. It's kind of overlapping into here, and I'll take the fill out so I can see through it, set a corner point, and just finish off that next arch like so, and come right up to about here. As long as I just finish that off, it's gonna, it'll work. That'll give me that point. Okay, so I'll hide the background just so you can see through it. I'll select this selection at the top. I'll move it just so you can see it. And with the stroke, I'm just going to make it just a little bit thinner. And now I'm going to take this tool right here. Looks like an inverted snowman. It's a shape builder tool. And just let me shift key and drag right up into that piece. And now that's connected. The only trouble, if I switch this back, is that it's got some extra points up at the top that I didn't take into account. So I'm going to scroll up here and see this point right here, and take the pen tool, and the delete anchor point is right there. If I turn that off, you can see it kind of disappears and gives me a little bit more of a direction that I can adjust to handle the shift key and stuff. So I can just make that fit into there. So now I have the logo kind of finished. Just kind of change this, swap the color out. And this B, I can just bring this forward. Just go Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. And you can see it overlaps those pieces. Okay, and so there you have that logo. Now again, the nice thing is, with this selected, and the option duplicating it, once I come over here, I just give everything a different color, or just parts of it with that color. It'll build up like that. So you can use, once you get it illustrated, you can start to change things and start to illustrate how you think you want it to look into that section. And then when you're finished, first of all, let me just select it all and select this one. And just go to Group, Object Group, move that over. And that gives me that logo. And then Command-Shift-4, and then draw a box around this. So now I have that piece into a page that I can click on. Just go to Command-Tab. You might not see this window, but I'll go to Desktop. And here's the screenshot of it. So it's right there. And just go ahead and change the title of it with your name and the name of the logo for information onto that part. And that way you have it. And PNG file is a small digital file, so it's not taking up that much space. And that'll give you that selection there. And there you have it. So it has your name, name of the logo, ready to turn in.